Hello guys. This is going to be my tier list video, and I'm borrowing a tier list made by Linksy. Although the tiers are a bit too little, I think, or too few. Okay, let's do an orange one. Oh, okay. Thought create an orange one. Whatever. So this will be E. Let's do this like greenish. This will be black, and to be nomads. And we will put the worst factions in Rome 2 here because nobody likes them, nobody plays them, nobody wants to watch them. Uh, nope. So yeah, these guys will be pink because I like pink. Well, not really pink, but yeah. So Armenia. Uh, mm, think B. Think B is good. Like a tier for Armenia, cause they're kind of like a weaker party, I think. Um, yeah, they don't have party and foot archers. Their horse archers are a bit more expensive, and they I think have slightly less missile damage. So yeah, I've also seen party winning far more compared to Armenia, but they're still really good. Like one of the best kiting factions in Rome 2. So yeah, I'll put them at B. Uh, Cymeria. I, I I actually wonder, should they be in A? Uh, nah, I'll just put them as the best B probably. Cymeria though is E. Like Cymeria, I have no idea who thought of this faction, because like they're sort of like a folk kite faction without good calf to protect the archers. Also, the Cymeria heavy archers, which cost like 600, don't even have a heavy shot for late game. Which, yeah, doesn't really work that well. What do they have? Like they have cheap hoplites for 530, which can hold for a bit, so you can use the archers and horse archers to melt like enemy meteors. But I think in order for Cymeria to win, um, the opposing player has to do a lot of mistakes, like a whole bunch of mistakes. So yeah, I just think Samir is one of the worst. So Kokis, mm, Kokis, maybe C. I think C or B. Uh, Probably same as Armenia. I think I'll put them as one of the best C because their main unit for uh, like main infantry unit no longer works, which is the Koken Novos, and before they would absolutely destroy uh, any Greek faction except for like Ardea and Sparta. They'll just destroy. Holy shit! Like you'll bring 4 or 5 of them, and all of them would get a minimum of 200 kills, even if they get charged by TSNS or something. They were amazing. But now, like, nobody picks them. Like, now you just go kite with Kokis, or bring some axes and go semi kite with Kokis. which is a bit of a shame. And their kite is just not as effective because they like cataphracts. Like that's the only reason I put them on C rather than B, to be honest. Because they have the same horse archers, like light horse archers, as Armenia. They have the same foot skirmishers, which are the Eastern archers and Eastern slingers. They have the no bloods, but instead of Eastern cataphracts, they have the Hippias lancers. So yeah, I just can't put them at the same tier. Okay, Athens. I think Athens is C. Like Athens is really bad. Uh, Again, in Spaghetti Patch, like I'll mention spaghetti a lot of times in this video, but yeah, Athens in Spaghetti Patch was really good. Like I'd probably put them at C, if it was still spaghetti, because the Trajan wars, even though they cost like 500, um, while the standard ones cost 420, which I think was a bug or something, which never went fixed. Anyways, they will help out the Citizen Calf and destroy the enemy calf if you manage to support the Citizen Calf well. Um, but now they can't even kill like, infantry. So yeah, their charge damage is rather limited, and hoplites just don't work anymore. And now all that Athens has left is just pikemen with torque swords combo, which is not even meta. Like it's like compared to all the other strategies like full kite, full rush, semi kite, semi rush, it's probably the worst. It's probably the least effective one because all that you need to do against pikes is either just ignore them, or actually, yeah, just ignore them, overload the flanks, and you win. That's it. You don't even have to worry about pikes. Or just make them use their formation and then destroy them with archers or slingers or whatever. So yeah, like pike builds are not even strong. They're just my favorite ones. Sparta F. Like Sparta. The thing with Sparta, um, again in Spaghetti Patch, Sparta would rush and destroy Boyai. Like if this was spaghetti, I would actually. I'm not even joking here. I would put Sparta's S if this was still spaghetti, because Spartan Rose will. Well, if you play it right, they would kill Evocati cohort, they would kill tribals, they would kill like sword followers, and with luck, they would even kill Olsorn. They were amazing. And uh, yeah, they were just beasts. Now, well, they're not really. Like now with Sparta, what you do is bring 2 to 4 rows, some pikes, some spears, some gorgos. Try your best to defend the gorgos. Oh, well, maybe bring some tartans. Yeah, try your best to defend the gorgos. Pray that you have your elite Spartans alive until the end. Form a box and hope that your opponent, or again, pray that your opponent doesn't have enough to break the box. That's it. Oh, sorry about that. And the worst thing is that the entire thing revolves around your opponent just making a bunch of mistakes. It doesn't revolve around you playing well. It's just about your opponent not doing anything right in the battle. So yeah, Sparta F tier. So Massilia. Um, Massilia. This might trigger people. Massilia A tier. Yeah, Massilia right here. Like you have Massilian calves, then he pass answers, then like super cheap Axe Wars and Chaotic Wars combo. You just YOLO charge a rush, and you just go the cycle and get good charges for with the he pass answers, and you can beat barbarians. And yeah, that's it. To be honest, it's not really like easy, but you have another option. You can infantry spam against barbarians, against Thalys even. Like right after the anti spaghetti patch, I actually played against Hamilcar Barker in a tournament, and uh, I'm pretty sure he won, like 3-1 or 2-1. And the only game I won was with Massilia against Thalys. And I spammed the shit out of Massilian infantry. Like, I brought 4 Massilian hoplites. I brought 4, Torque swords. I brought Axors. I brought I brought Celtic warriors. I brought so much infantry that his units couldn't uh, couldn't break through the sheer amount of armor and health, and I got a narrow win. Like I think I had a couple of units left, but yeah, still Massilia defeating Thalys with infantry. That's amazing. um, but yeah, it's just not easy with Massilia, but it's like so fucking fun to play with Massilia, especially if you do the Caviolo. But if you miss Micro, it's going to be bad for you. So yeah, but I think I I don't know. Should they be in B? Nah, I'll just leave them as a faction. Just like after watching, make sure to comment about Massilia. If it's really in A, or it should be lower. Like I think it should be in A. Like I've seen, and I've also defeated even Rome with Massilia. So yeah, I think Massilia is pretty powerful. It's just not really. Mm, Not really for you if your micro is not really on par. Okay, so Pergamon F. Pergamon is just bad. Like their elite Pergamonese Novocav has I think only 40 armor, which is beyond terrible. So they only have Hippes answers. They have Tarantins. They have cheap Greek archers and slingers. Not even like Eastern slingers or something like that. They only have Galatian swords, like some hoplites, Ajima spears, which are basically overpriced Illyrian marines. They're just bad. Like they realistically, I think they can only defeat a couple of factions if both players are similarly skilled. Like maybe they can defeat uh, Udricians, but it kind of depends. Since if you charge your Shokav into the nobles, then you're dead. You just have to do something like a folk kite, which won't be really easy if the Odricians spam calf, because they can bring like 9 or 11 calf. And good luck with kiting with cheap Greek archers and slingers against 11 calf when they were out instantly in contact with the enemy calf. But yeah, let's continue. RDA, RDA, I'll put a B. Um, so RDA can do only one thing, but if you get proficient enough with this one thing, you can probably beat most factions in the game. An example for this is how NC Ranger won Cup of Nations with RD. And if you don't know what Cup of Nation is, basically you get randomly assigned a faction and you have to play the entire tournament with that faction. So RD basically beat all factions. And in semis, I think RD beat Galatia. And in finals, RD beat Saba. So yeah, RD is pretty good, but it's really strange. It's not really that micro dependent because you make something like a checkboard formation and you just sit in that formation and don't move and just use your marines and peltas and tarntines to shout the enemy with javs, and you use hoplite wall or something like that with Illyrio Novo hoplites, so they'll hold, and in the meantime you just destroy the enemy melee with javs, and that's basically the RDA playstyle. But it's not really that easy. Personally, I can't really do it. I can't mimic the playstyle of Ranger with RD. For me, it's way too difficult. Like, I don't know. I just can't. And this why I've put them at B and not as S or A. So, Aravachi, I think they're D. And only because they destroy Greeks. That's the only reason why they're at D. Like, they beat Greeks because of the noble fighters and all their melee infantry, but against anything else, I think they just get wrecked. Like, they get destroyed by barbarians, they get destroyed by Rome. They'll probably get destroyed by Massilia as well. So they can't even beat all Greeks. They'll probably lose to Epirus. They'll lose to Carthage because Carthage can out infantry them, and Libyan infantry will actually beat Scutari. So yeah, maybe they can do well against Eastern factions, but even about that, I'm not really that sure. But yeah, like Arvachi, just they're just bad. Arverni, I think RS. Like Arverni is just not that hard of a faction. They're just effective at everything they do, pretty much. Well, except for kite, they suck at kiting. But yeah, they're effective at anti-east rush. They're pretty decent against barbarians. I think they just get overpowered by Boyai or by Talis, and even then it's pretty close. It's not like overwhelmingly overpowered. Um, it's just that their chosen swordsmen kinda suck. So yeah, so something like Vulcati cohort will destroy them easily. But they're just effective, and I think even in the hands of a new player, they won't really lose that horribly. So yeah, that's pretty much Arverni. Bactria, think I don't like Bactria. They can bring pikes, they can bring elephant, they can bring I guess kite build, but it's much harder than Armenia Partia because they don't have any cataphracts. Oh, they have the Hellenic cataphracts, but they're shit. So yeah, I just don't like Bactria because Bactria is both hard and bad. Like, they're not really effective at any one thing they do. I think they only have one good unit, which is the Bactrian no horse, which just beats like Noblets and Cappadocians, which are cheaper than them, by the way. So yeah, just a bad faction, I think. Boy, yes, it's just a better Arverni. That's it. Yeah. And the good thing about Boy is that I think they're the only good barbarian faction which also gets Axe Warriors. I'm not sure if any other faction has the Axe Warriors. I think only Boyai and Massilia. Oh, Massilia are not really like barbarians, but whatever. And you can use them together with Sword Followers and also can use them, for example, against Talis to chop off the armor from the tribals. But they're kind of weird. Like they can get like 30 kills if you engage them too early, because their melee stats kind of suck. And they can get 1 to 200 kills if you engage them at the right time with the right support, because they will just destroy armor. So yeah, like pretty pretty weird. So Carthage C is like the middle tier C is made for Carthage, because Carthage does okay at pretty much everything in the game. They do okay at Elephant Rush, they do okay at kiting, they do okay at like melee spam rush, they do okay at pike builds. Yeah, pretty much everything. But their problem is that they don't do exceptional at any of these things. So a specialized faction against a Carthaginian player which didn't build his army properly would just destroy Carthage, I think. For example, if Carthage faces Boyai and Carthage decides to just spam melee, a Carthage will just get annihilated. So, yeah. Okay, Epirus. I think B. Because Epirus is a really effective faction against Greeks. Um, Against barbarians, I think they can kite with something like 3 Hellene Crowcalf, like 5 Thessalians, then a bunch of Greek singers and archers, and maybe you can even get an elephant, maybe a couple of Illyrian levies as well. But it will be really hard to do. This is why there would be. Against East, I'm not really sure. I haven't played the matchup, but you can bring two Earth Spears, you can bring Peltas, you can bring Rhodians, I guess. Can they bring Cretans? I'm not sure. Um, Not even sure about the Rhodians, to be honest. Um, yeah, against East, I'm not really sure they'll do well because of the mass of Thessalians is really bad. So Epirus might have to play it a bit defensively. But yeah, I think it's kind of 50-50 or 40-60 in favor of East. So yeah, this is why Epirus is at B. But really, really good faction. Galatia is, I think this guy should swap. Yeah, like Galatia, I think is the only faction which can spam melee, then bring missile calf, bring couple of great like meteor calf, probably one of the best meteor calf in the game, Cappadocian calf, bring a calf gen, and then bring 3 elite archers to snipe Oathsworn. So they're sort of like semi kite, semi rush, I feel like. Um, but yeah, they're really adaptable. They're really fun to play. Um, they're not that hard, I think. You just have to get used to them. And yeah, I think they're just effective. Uh, and they even have cheap like missile cover with 41 missile damage for 390. So yeah, can even counter horse archers. So Galatia is really good. I just wish their Galatian Raiders had a bit more armor, because they have 15, and um, most other barbarian Javkaf with good melee stats have like 40 or even 50 armor. So they're at a really big disadvantage against something like Tylis, I think, since the Tylis Raining Horse are way better. So, Gete. A. I think A. I think Gete, like as a playstyle, is really similar to Galatia, but even more on the side of Semikite. Since you don't have any meteors, but you can get the Dacian Heavy Bowman, then you can get the Bow Horseman. So you can use both elite archers and good horse archers together. Like I've seen, for example, some replays where like the heavy bowman focus farm the general from the front, and the bow horseman focus fire with heavy shot from the back, and the general just melted. It was so good to to witness that. But yeah, you can also bring with that build 4 elite swords, and I think the noble swords are probably the best elite sword in the game, just because they're so cost effective. And then you can even bring 4 cheap melee cap with heavy mass, which is great. Um, then what else? I think you can also bring 4 Axors. Oh yeah, Gete could bring Axors as well. And that makes for a pretty effective build. Even when there are no rules about melee and things like that. I think that's a pretty good build. Against most factions, to be honest. Um, but yeah, maybe not against something like Talis, because the horse archers will get counter, but yeah, you can change some stuff. Okay, Iceni. Fuck Iceni. Uh, ABP. Because I think Iceni are great at anti-kite, like anti-east kite. Um, they're good against Greeks. Like they'll probably just demolish Greeks. But then against barbarians, oh fuck, they just get melted, because they're basically Arverni with cheat stats. That's basically Iceni, Arverni with cheat stats, which is a shame, because it's CA could have done so many things with this faction, but it was all wasted for a worse Arverni, like Arverni wannabe. But yeah, um, Iceni has good slingers, but against barbarian rushers, they won't have any time to shoot. Also, Iceni has really cheap calf, but their stats are terrible, so they'll get destroyed by heavy horse. And then yeah, then Iceni will just crumble, because on top of swordband being worse than even Tron Swordsman, they'll get recharged by heavy horse, and then it's GG. So yeah, I think Iceni is just B. Might even be C, but I don't really want to put it any lower than Epirus. Actually, are they? I'll put them here. Lusitani, I think D. I really don't like Lusitani. I don't like how vulnerable they are to missiles. I don't like how vulnerable they are to cav charges, especially shock cav charges. So yeah, I just don't like them as a faction, and I think they're rather hard to play since they're vulnerable to so many things. But once you get in melee, you're you're great, because veteran shooters have like 70 melee defense and then 60 attack. So they're going to destroy people in prolonged melee. But their armor is a problem, and they also suffer a lot of HP damage from uh, jabs alone when charging. So if they get weakened before the melee engagement starts, they'll probably crumble. So yeah, I don't like Lusitania at all. Okay, so let's see Macedon. I think he like Macedon just sucks. Kinda very similar to Athens. The only difference is that Macedon has like good shock calf. They have companion calf, and then they have the Thessalians, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference. So yeah, too bad, but Macedon just sucks. Okay, Swabi's A, I think. Mm, A or B? Like in Spaghetti Patch, I'd probably put them here at this, but now I'm not really sure where to put them. I really don't. Maybe like here at B, I think, because now they can't really do the fast charge for rush thing. I think they're still great at semi-kite, especially with Wallon spears, because they just destroy calves when the calves try to disengage. But yeah, recently Soebi has not done well in tournaments, losing to Arverni mostly. So yeah, I just don't think Soebi is that strong anymore. Kind of a shame. Nervii, I think Nervii are A, like maybe here. I really like Nervii. They have the Germai Scouts, and then they have the Mighty Horse. Then, if you want to, you can bring the Noble Horse. They have a lot of cheap infantry, like their first source for 690, although they're not really good at holding. They're a decent shock unit. Like you got also Outsorn, so yeah, they're really good, especially when melee infantry is not limited. You can bring like I don't know, like 15 or 16 melee infantry, and then like a couple of Gemini scouts, and you just rush the fuck out of the other guy with barbarians. I don't know if it will work against Boyai or Galatia. Will probably work against Arverni though, easily. But yeah, I think they're A. The problem with them is that they don't really have good spears. Like Arverni has, like Boyai has, so they can bring just like Freeman, then Spear Brothers, then Naked Spears, which are terrible unit. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But I don't know if you need any spears or like anti-kite, because you can bring 3 German scouts, then you can bring 4 mm, mighty horse. That's 7 cavalons. Then if you decide to bring Noble Horse Gen, that's 8 cav units. So that should be a lot. If you want, you can bring more than that. So yeah, I think Nerve is okay at anti-kite as well. So yeah, I think Nerve is pretty good. Then nutritions. Nutritions. Before, like in spaghetti, I'll put them at S, like maybe here. But now, maybe C, maybe high C. I think. Like the thing with nutritions is that the nobles are kind of overpowered. More balanced than they used to be, though. Because before they used to melt like Evocati cohort, like raw Spartans, uh, Oathsworn, tribals, sword followers, any melee unit in the game. Now it's not really the case, and Oathsworn now beat Thracianos, but that's beyond the beyond the point. But yeah, the problem is that usually what happens is that everything else than the nobles dies. And you can't really do anything about it because now hoplites suck, so they can't really tank for the Thracian nobles and support Thracian nobles. Thracian warriors don't really have the same impact when charging. They don't really deal the same amount of damage, and they die to like one calf charge. And if you're not careful, what will happen is that you charge, and the enemy will just charge over your Thracian warriors with something like, I don't know, Thessalian calves. The Thracian warriors will die, and then like only the nobles will remain. And how you win the entire battle with like 4 or 5 units. So yeah, but if you manage to intercept the captures with the nobles, then you're you're looking rather good because even cataphracts charging Thracian nobles will lose like 20 men when they charge and instantly pull out. And if you forget about them, then bye bye cataphracts. But yeah, also Drishans can spam calf. Like Drishans can bring, let's say, 4 or 5 Thracian calf, then some Thracian horsemen, then maybe some Thracian raw calf. But Drishans just require so much micro, and if you forget to micro the nobles for even 2 seconds, and they get like I know a couple of volleys from even archers or let's say Javs, they'll lose like 20 men, which will make them lose the fight even against something like troubles or sword followers. So you can't really make mistakes with traditions. So their potential strength is actually pretty high, I think, but in reality they are not that great for most players because like if you overthink the engagements then you probably lose. Like you just have to go big dick, just don't think about anything, just charge and just focus on microing the charges and then on cycling with the novels. That's it. But yeah, I think this is a good place for the durations. Now Pontus, I think Pontus is a maybe here. Pontus has just a really effective combination of chaotic warriors, naked swords, like Cappadocians and nobloods, like pikes, like Eastern slingers and archers. It's just really effective. So yeah, Pontus is just a great faction. Partia is just the best kite faction in the game, and kiting is pretty meta right now because the lack of spaghetti. So yeah, I just think that party is great. Maybe like here or even like here. So yeah, party is insane. But also pretty hard, but not hard enough as to put them in A tier. No way. Rome is like Rome is the easiest and strongest faction in Rome too. So their only weakness is that they're weak to kite, which is pretty historical. They'll probably lose to Parthia, but if melee infantry is unlimited, like you can bring 19 swords and a general, go into a forest, just sit there, maybe even use those formation, and Parthia can't do shit against you. Like their catfrags will be terrible in the forest. Their skirmishers will miss a lot of their shots. So yeah, like Rome is is great. And the funniest thing is that Rome is the best in forests and not in the open field, which is kind of like anti-historical. Like holy shit! It should be like in Total Arena where barbarians uh, get bonus to their movement speed, to charge speed, stuff like that. And Rome is just overpowered on open fields like Nemetusena or something like that. But anyways, so Seleucids, I think D. Way too dependent on elephants, and since the faction is shit with anything other than elephant builds, everyone will know you will bring an elephant build with Seleucids. Like it won't be uh, something like I don't know a genius move to bring two elephants, then spam I don't know camel spears and then human, and maybe even four elephants. And with some rules like max one elephant, Seleucids is just screwed. Like Seleucids can't really do anything else than elephants, I think. So, um, Syracuse, I think in E as well. Like Syracuse can just spam Greek infantry, which is trash. They can't really do anything other than that. So yeah, they're just bad, but slightly stronger than Athens, I guess. Thales, I think Thales should be here. I think Thales is. It really depends against Boy. It kind of goes both ways, but I think Thales is better here because you don't have to get good charges with the heavy horse, and not so good players with barbarians like me will just fail with the heavy horse, get javelin to the face, and lose like half of the heavy horse in the first moments of battle. And with Thales, you only have like the raiding horsemen, so you can harass. You can pick the moment to deal with the enemy skirmishers. You can like recharge and then quickly retreat before the enemy calf catches your Jaff calf. So I think Thales potentially can be stronger. But a good player with Boyai, uh, which use heavy horse effectively, will most likely defeat Thales. I think, since Meteor Calf with heavy mass is really impactful, especially when you don't have anything to block the charges with. So yeah, but it's just easier to play Thales, I think, since you can bring some Leverman, some like Spear Warriors, and you can just javelin the heavy horse. So yeah, Egypt, I think D maybe, because they can bring some Galatian row guards. which are nah, they cost too much. I think E, like high E, because their calf sucks. Their infantry is like thorax swords. Their pikes okay. Uh, I just don't like them as a faction. Um, if you want a faction to bring African war weapons, so it just go for Carthage. Egypt, Egypt is just bad. Kush, A probably, just because it's so easy to play as Kush. If you're not getting kited, that is. And they have the disciples, which, if they don't get charged by Calf, they're probably one of the best, if not the best, infantry to deal with enemy infantry, because they're the only full sized unit, which also scares everyone. So with Kush, you probably want to bring at least one of them against barbarians, especially. And even even if you don't like them, you have options. Like you have another elite sword you can bring, which deals insane armor piercing damage. So yeah, Kush is great. Uh, the only reason why I haven't put them in S is because I think they're way too susceptible to enemy Caviolo and like Kite, because their Cav is just beyond terrible. So yeah. And Masai City, I think Masai City should be here because they have great infantry. They have, I think, the best peltas in the game. Having the medium skirmishers. They have the best Javkov in the game, although it costs a lot 920, but they all get a lot of kills most of the time. The only bad thing about them is that they're kind of hard to play. Especially like microing the Javkov so you don't get caught. But if you play it well, you'll probably win against most factions. I don't think you should have problems with Eastern factions as well as Greeks, but you probably suffer against barbarians. Just because their infantry will destroy yours. Because your infantry, after all, is just like a bad copy paste of Roman infantry. So, yeah. Now, Saba, I think Saba is overrated. So, I won't put them at this. Maybe here. I think. Like the thing with Saba is that the combination of Marauders and Cataphracts is really effective, but it can be disrupted. Like Saba is pretty weak to horse archers, so horse archers can just pick off your Cataphracts. You need to micro the Cataphracts, so it's not the first charge. The camel cataphracts also get absolutely destroyed by Eastern cataphracts, so Saba is not that good against Parthia or Armenia. Uh, yeah, they're just good with mm, the combo of like camel cataphracts and marauders, and that's about it, really. And since they're so one-dimensional, it's too predictable, and people will get like Peltas, maybe Javkav, maybe Twitter Spears, and make it really hard for your cataphracts. And against barbarians, you'll probably face spear warriors, maybe veteran spears. You know the meteor spears with cavalry counter tactics, which will make it really hard for the Cataphracts to do much. Especially since most of the barbarian units will throw their pillar at the Cataphracts, and since their armor is rather terrible for a Cataphract unit, they'll melt. And their health is also much lower than Eastern Cataphracts. The thing with them is that they just deal more impact damage and they turn around faster. But overall, they're much slower. So if you forget about them and they get targeted by, I don't know, archers or singers, and you notice what's happening and order them to run around to safety, um, they will run pretty slowly and we'll probably get at least a couple of more volleys. It'll drop probably like 10 more men. So, yeah, I think Saba is overrated. But it's a relatively easy faction, and that's probably the reason why it's overrated. It's just easier than Armenia Partia, and people are like shocked at the kills of the Camel Cataphracts. Um, so yeah, but I don't think they're anywhere near S tier, personally. Okay, Nabatea. Nabatea. Maybe C. I think C. Because they're really good at kiting, I think. They have the like, armor camel spears, I think. And then the Nabatea Novocav, which is basically like no bloods or maybe slightly weaker than Cappadocians, I think. So they really do well at kiting. They have Dharma Desert Hoplites, which have the exact same stats as Illyrian Novo Hoplites, just with 5 less health, I think. Um, they also have Dark Swords, which are great, but they don't really have any decent Meteor Swords, which is really bad in Naruto. So yeah, I think their main thing is just kiting. The problem with them is that they don't really have any like Eastern Cataphracts, so their kite won't be as effective as Armenia or Parthia. But they're still pretty decent, I think. And um, can work against most factions. I think against East they will probably struggle. They will struggle quite a lot since no good horse archers as far as I can recall. I actually don't remember. I think they had camel archers, but not like good horse archers and no cataphracts. So yeah, they won't do that well. Then their infantry sucks, so if they don't kite, they'll just get melted by barbarians. And against Greeks, I think they'll do fine against Greeks with Dark Swords, with Dharma Desert Hoplites, and with their really good calf. Yeah, I think that they will do fine against Greeks. But yeah, that's my tier list. Let me know what you think of my rating of these factions. I have couple of doubts here, like should Arverni be in S or in A? Um, Maybe in A. I think they're between the two. Then sub maybe between A and B, maybe lower A, just because they're so easy to play. So most players will be able to use sub relatively well. Then Lusitani, if Lusitani should be in C instead, because their veteran shield wars do really well if they don't get countered, but that's the situation with most units. And then I think that's it, really. So yeah, let me know what you think about the tier list, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.